silver, or what is that?
I don't know.
That's awesome.
Gold, silver, something platinum.
50 years. I mean, that is just amazing. I mean, I was 2 years old. You weren't even close to being born.
No, I wasn't.
Oh, amazing.
First off, if you're going to GenCon and you can find us, right? You can come get me, then we have something special that we want to give you. We have a first player token, Board Game Closet first player token that we want to put into your hand.
Limited edition.
Very limited
Very
edition.
limited edition.
Limited edition. First run. First edition Board Game Closet first player token. And
This is the only time you're going to be able to get it, so be ready.
And if you're not going to be at Gen Con, don't worry. We're going to come up with another way for you to still get this. You might be able to get this in the mail at some point. Maybe. So we wanted to give you our top tips on how to survive Gen Con, right? Yeah. So if you're going, put this on your playlist on the way there. If you're driving or flying or hitching a ride, whatever you're doing, put this video on your playlist. That way you're ready to go once you walk into the con.
All right, so tip number 1. Should you go or should I go?
Go for it.
Okay. So first of all, I would say most of you are probably in hotel rooms, and I hope that you have the continental breakfast, and I hope it's a good one.
Yeah.
Because that is a lifesaver.
Oh, yeah.
In the morning, you eat as much as possible, and for me, it's bagels and cream cheese and orange juice. Love it. And you eat as much as you can because you're not going to be eating probably till close to 2 o'clock, and you're going to be burning a lot of calories by walking around there, right?
And to follow up with that, you guys did something that you pulled me into your tradition at Gen Con where we planned a time every single day where we actually left the con.
Yep.
Which sounds crazy.
Yeah.
Because it's Gen Con.
Yeah, and there's only so many hours, right? I mean, because it opens up at 10?
Something like that.
And then the showroom closes at 5.
Yeah, the vendor hall.
So right about 1 o'clock, we met each day. And then we went out and grabbed some lunch someplace.
Which is cool because it gave us a break point in the day where we could get away and actually sit down somewhere. We would all recap the whole day. Man, we played this game. What'd you play? Because you can't stay with everybody the whole day.
Exactly.
It doesn't happen, and sometimes you want to go check out something, and I didn't want to check it out. So we would split up sometimes. But then we came back, sat down, got to eat a meal, and that was a huge deal. Now, they have food trucks outside of the con. There's a million of them. And there are a number of restaurants that are close by within walking distance. Right. And we actually preferred going somewhere and sitting down because the food trucks are awesome, but it's going to be a little bit more expensive, and you're not going to get as much as maybe what you'd get in a restaurant.
Right.
What we were talking about earlier was the idea that if you go to a restaurant, you get free refills on drinks. I know that sounds silly,
right?
But if you get it
stay hydrated.
Yeah, it's important. But if you get it at the food truck, you get a can of soda, and then once that's gone or hot, then it's over.
Plus, where do you sit?
Outside in the heat,
Yeah, outside in the heat on a step or something, and it's just it's not that comfortable. So should we talk about my favorite place?
The only place?
So the place. So when we go, and I know Jimmy got so tired of it when we went, because we're like going every day at lunch. Steak and Shake. Can't do wrong. Okay, I know that everyone else thinks that too. First of all, inexpensive. You do a meal for $5 or $6.
If we tell them this, then they're going to go.
I know.
They're all going to go.
But we're here to give them tips. We're here. We're here for you. So next year when I go, don't go to Steak and Shake.
Here's a tip that I'll give you if you're going to a con. This was a newbie mistake that I made when I first went. Is do not buy any game unless you absolutely have to have it.
Right.
One of the things that I did was I went and stood in line for all of these games, and you're talking every line is long, every line, and it's going to be even longer this year with 70,000 plus people there, sold out Gen Con. I stood in line for these games that I thought I just had to have, and then months would go by, and I still hadn't even got to play them.
Sure.
And then I would find them online, discounted. Way cheaper than what I paid for them at the con.
Sure.
And so unless you are just like, I'm going home today and I'm going to play this game.
Sure.
Now the downside is there are a lot of games that come out at Gen Con that you can get your hands on, and they will come around, but sometimes it might take 3 or 4 months for you to get them, and that's a negative. And so if you just can't take that, so I guess if you're willing to play it in the first 2 months, go ahead and get it. But the chances are you're not going to get any discounts. People ask that all the time. What kind of good deals can I get at Gen Con?
Right.
None.
Well,
None. You're not going to get a deal.
I totally agree with that, because didn't Cool Stuff?
Cool Stuff has a booth, yeah. So you're going to get Cool Stuff price without paying shipping.
Right.
But there's no excitement to that because I could place a Cool Stuff order today.
Right.
And get all of those items.
Well, and that's quite honestly, isn't that what we did last time, kind of? We were walking around, got to get that game. You know what? Let's order it right now. and went ahead and ordered it and saved yourself. You didn't have to carry it home. The whole thing, you know. So and it came at the door because it was over $100, shipping free.
Yeah, just don't order the game sitting at Asmodee's booth. You know, so like, I love this game, but you know they might kick you out or something. But it's totally true though. Like maybe at the end of the con on Sunday at some point, maybe you could catch a deal, but. Right. I mean, really, these cons, especially GenCon, is not made to give somebody a deal on. You're going to pay full price for everything,
right?
And so that's my tip: is don't buy it unless you know you just got to have it, you know. Because I've had some GenCon regrets where I paid full price for stuff and then it might still be on the shelf unplayed. I'm talking to you, Firefly.
I guess my suggestion would be is to make sure you actually get out there and play some games. Mm-hmm. So get in there, stand in line, play some games. Get with the people who've developed the games. Some of the companies are better at that. So, for instance, when we first time played Fortune and Glory, we were actually playing with the guy who developed the game. So he knew every rule, everything. So he wasn't messing up on it. Now, we've been there before, where I won't say it was Fantasy Flight, but it could have been. And the person didn't know the game hardly at all. Was kind of rushing us through. Mm-hmm. And that didn't feel good. So I would say, like, when it comes to especially, like, the company Flying Frog, what about the company who does Spartacus?
Gale Force 9.
Those guys have the presenters did such a great job. And I'm sure with most of the Fantasy Flight ones, and most of the ones I have done have been good. But that particular one, it just seems like they had pulled somebody who didn't know the game.
Mm-hmm. And now there are places at the con to play. You know, like a lot of people have said that Gen Con is not a gaming convention, like a place to just go and play games. But if you want to play games, there's a lot of gaming going on. You just have to go find it. There will not be that much gaming going on in the vendor hall. There will be demos, but it's not going to be guys kicking back playing games for hours upon end. This is going to be guys playing a 20-minute version of the game, and then they kick you out, and then you go and you demo something else. And so, but if you're interested in that, they do have free gaming areas, open play gaming play areas where you can go and just grab a table and play. They have a lot of tables that are set up where guys will come to demo their games, but they're not in the main vendor hall. So it just might be some Kickstarter guy or some guy that's got a smaller gaming company where maybe he didn't want to pay for a booth, but you can still meet up with them and play their games in certain locations. And so there is gaming to be had at Gen Con, and a lot of it, but you have to get out of the crazy vendor hall to find that kind of stuff.
Right. And also talk to the people. So, for instance, now the Fantasy Flight, with the bigger companies, it's harder to talk to them because they're already busy doing these interviews and stuff. But these smaller companies, these guys will talk to you about anything and everything. They'll give you full details of exactly what they've gone through to get their game out there. It's awesome. So if you're thinking about developing a game, or you're just interested in how it goes from A to B, these guys will give you all that information. And they're great people. Every time we've been there, there was one company that it was just all ex-military guys that had this strategy game that they'd come out with. But those guys were great. They would just give us all this information and stuff, and it was great. I mean, I just thoroughly enjoyed talking to them.
And you'll bump into all kinds of people. This is especially the 50th anniversary. Everybody is going to be there. Every person that I've interviewed on the podcast, every company pretty much that I've talked to has said, yes, we're going to be there.
Sure.
We're going to be here at this time. You can come by and talk to me. We're going to pass off games to us that we're going to review. Like, everybody's going to be there. So you could be standing in line buying a game and talking to the designer of the game.
Sure.
Talking to the CEO of that company, whether that's big or small. Those guys are going to be there. Right. And it's just going to be a fun opportunity to slow down and not be in a rush to get the greatest game. Why don't you talk to maybe the guy that made the game?
Yeah, that's awesome. One of the things like parking. Mm-hmm. One thing I found over the many times we've been there, I think if you can get in at the football stadium, which sounds like you're going to be able to, it's a fair parking because I think the price at the time was either $8 or $10, and that's worth it for all day. Mm-hmm. So that's a fair price. Some of the other areas are pretty high on the parking, and then when you get to the actual weekend, a lot of those areas free up within the city because the workers
are gone.
Yeah, the government workers aren't there, or the city workers. So you'll be able to get those spots for a fairly cheap price.
Yeah.
So I think it went as low as $5, didn't it, one time?
We had to walk a little bit, but yeah, $5.
Yeah.
This time we're trying Uber. I'm going to try Uber.
Ooh, that's going to be interesting.
I'm getting the app, and then I just want to see what it's like. We gotta get an Uber. We're in Arkansas. We don't have Uber in Arkansas.
You'll end up with Ted Bundy.
Uber, man. We're calling an Uber. You can schedule Uber now, which I didn't even know that was a thing, but I could say I want to be picked up at 1 a.m. and then they'll come get you.
That's awesome.
So
That's very, very good.
We're going to try it. We're doing Airbnb this time. Yeah. We're staying in some lady's apartment. This just sounds weird. But we are. We just rented this apartment. She's not going to be there, obviously. But so we're renting this apartment, and then we're going to try Uber at some point. So I'm going to let you know on the flip side if I am going back to.
I want to know what happens. I will find out, but I think we're going to have to come back with a 10-minute or video to come back and tell you guys what happened afterwards.
Yeah. But Airbnb, I mean, to talk about that was, I think I'm paying about $100 a day to stay there. Whereas if I was going to get an apartment, it would have been a hotel, it would have been $125 to $150 a night. Right. And so this is considerably cheaper, but I'm feeling better about the quality of where I would stay, because I might have been able to find a hotel for that cheap, but I don't know if I would have wanted to have stayed in a hotel that cheap. And so this is getting the flexibility of that, the cheaper price, and so I don't know. I'll let you know how it goes.
And we've had the bad experiences, right, with hotels.
We have.
We've bad.
Carrying stuff, if there's another big issue, is you get excited and you buy this big game at 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. when the doors open, and then you are lugging that thing all day long.
Somebody has to take a run to the car. You'll put that into the vehicle, and then you hope the car doesn't get stolen out of the car. So, yeah, that's a mistake.
Yeah, that's rough. I bring a backpack with snacks, water, things like that in it. Maybe a change of clothes is a good idea, but just kind of stuff like that, so you don't have to leave the con, and so you can plan some of your purchases where you could say, at the end of the day, I know I'm going to run back to such and such booth and pick that up real quick before I go home.
Yeah. Small groups. So if you have a big group, which we've done many times, pretty much 2 or 3 people together at a time, because you can't do any more than that because you get torn to pieces, pulled apart. So most of the time we just kind of kept it into 2s basically, unless I had one of my kids with me too. But otherwise it's too much to try to get through the crowd that way. And then the last thing I would have is that Indianapolis has been nothing but a neat city every time I've been there. So I think I've been there 4 times for GenCon. Each time has been a good experience. I have very seldom seen anything. When you're in the middle of a city like that, normally you see some really weird stuff, and there are stuff that we've seen, but all in all, it's clean. They're real receptive, and I just thought that it's the best city that I could think of to have it in.
Oh yeah. So there you go. All right, that's our tips.
That's it.
All right, so if you're at GenCon, come find me, and I would love to put a first player token into your hand and get to know you. Hear your story about how you followed us. What video did you first see us on? And how long have you been subscribing? All that kind of stuff. That would be awesome to connect with some people that are watching our videos. So,
yep, have a great time. Just enjoy yourself.
Yeah. All right, so we'll catch you next time on the Board Game Closet. And as always,
support your local hobby shop. So, real funny, quick story, just real quick. First con there, right? There with the kids. Actually, it's the second one. It is 10 minutes we've been inside there, right? I dropped something. I bend over to grab it. Guess what happens?
Rip.
So there's a mall nearby. It's actually right past Steak and Shake. Just run down there, grab some pots and pans. It was an embarrassing moment of my life, but it was funny.
This is your tip for GenCon. Well, bring extra pants.
Don't bend over when you shouldn't.
Oh.